I joke about being on a mission from God, and that's because I have a very weird personality in that I don't know what it is to say, I'm not going to do this because it will hurt my career. I wish I had sometimes had known better, but I don't think, as my wife keeps saying to me, nothing could have shut me up. And she should know she's been trying to do that for 50 years. So, artists are sensitive people. They are people who want very, very desperately to do this one thing that God has given them to do. And they are for that reason, they can be very easily swayed. We call it being intimidated, but they're just swayed. They don't even know that their mind is changing. And there's an article by David Strom over at Hot Air that says vibe shift, comedians now admitting that they were pressured to stay in line. It says now it can be told by the sniveling cowards who complied. So again, not taking the forgiving attitude I am. But he says as part of the vibe shift since Trump's election, all sorts of celebrities are opening up about how they gave in to pressure to maintain the elite narrative that Joe Biden was fine and Kamala Harris was a joyful warrior who was running against weird Hitlerian candidates who were determined to execute dissenters and set up concentration camps. Not that anybody has put it that way, of course, but you get the idea. Cultural figures, especially comedians, are musing these days about the peer pressure that forced them to pretend that the Democrats were demigods and the Republican demons, even if they were a bit skeptical at times. And the Republicans were demons, even if they were a bit skeptical at times. Jim Gaffigan, who has been a vociferous and occasionally nasty critic of Trump over the years, now expresses regret that he offended so many people along the way. So let's hear that Gaffigan clip.
I regret that people think that I was criticizing people that support Trump. That was never the intention. It was... I regret someone said now I can't follow you anymore. And I kind of said F you to them. There are true diehard Trump fans that, probably enjoyed my comedy that because they feel so passionately will never forgive me.
So David Strom writes here, I think that some of the regret may be that he lost fans, but I also believe that he was genuinely being self-reflective. And by the way, I think that actually is true of Mark Zuckerberg, too, that he would prefer to be a free speech guy. He just caved to the censors. I don't think he is by nature a censor, even though I don't trust him for a lot of other reasons. I think that Zuckerberg actually would prefer to see himself as a free speech guy, and I'm sure Gaffigan would prefer to see himself. He's a clean comedian. He's a family comedian. He's a Catholic comedian, and he's very funny when he's funny, and I enjoy his stuff too. And he did get very insulting about Trump people. He can't soften that. He was really nasty about people who support Trump. So I used to lay awake at night, just really uncomfortable, tossing, turning. Now I lay awake in complete comfort because I have Helix Sleep. It's a total game changer. I'm still not going to sleep. It's just not my way, but at least I feel great all night. The thing I love about my Helix mattress is how well it does with temperature regulation, which really eases some of those annoying middle of the night wake-ups, sweating terribly. I don't even want to talk about it. Plus, it's easy to connect to other wearable devices so you can actually see the data to back up your sleep improvements. What makes Helix different is they don't just sell you a random mattress. They actually match you with the perfect one for your body and sleep style. Whether you're a side sleeper, back sleeper, or somewhere in between, they've got you covered, or just a lie awake person. They've got you covered too. Trust me, when you find the right match, you'll wonder how you ever slept or stayed awake on anything else. Right now is actually the perfect time to upgrade your sleep because Helix is offering an incredible deal. Go to helixsleep.com/Klavan to get 27% off site-wide plus 2 free dream pillows with any mattress purchase. That's helixsleep.com/Klavan for 27% off site-wide plus 2 free dream pillows with any mattress purchase. helixsleep.com/Klavan. Wait, Klavan? How do you spell Klavan?
K-L-A-V-A-N, there are no E's in Klavan.
And the thing about that is that, I'm sure he did lose fans because conservatives liked him because he was a family religious guy and he was kind of clean, more clean than most comedians. And so I'm not giving him any medals for what he's saying, but I am saying that roasting people who deserve it, like Stephen Colbert, who has been really irresponsible with his position. He has a position. He's a late night comedian on a network. He should have been making fun of everybody. That's good for America. It's good for America to make fun of everybody. I want people to make fun of Trump. I just want them to give another equal time to making fun of Pelosi and that lot. I want people to make fun of the powerful. That's what they're there for. That's what we pay them for. But when you're saying that the Trump people are bad, then how do we laugh at ourselves? We have to be able to laugh at ourselves by seeing them. So Gaffigan made a mistake. Hopefully he's going to change. I think this is a good thing. Who was the other one? Whitney Cummings. She had an interesting point that she makes, still holding on to her leftist credentials.
It's just wild to me that we are in a time where if you are on the left and you don't criticize your party, how much do you even care about your party? Do you know what I mean? It's like what's going on in the left. I finally just broke in Stockholm syndrome, whatever it is. But I just think that if you love your party, you have to be able to criticize it, And I don't really take sides. I've always thought of myself as a pretty liberal person, but I don't think the left is as liberal as it used to. It's like the left became the party of censorship and my body, my choice, but you have to take this vaccine. And my body, my choice, pro-choice party, but you don't have a choice in your candidate. I'm not an expert on politics, which is why I've always said I'm not weighing in on it. But I am an expert on hypocrisy.
Good for her. So that's really the stuff we say. And by the way, I think a lot of guys got some credit that they didn't deserve, like Dave Chappelle, funny guy. But, to go after transgenderism, that was the opening. Transgenderism, as I said, is emblematic of the madness that comes from censorship. So transgenderism is something, and it's such an atrocity, what they're doing to children, that it has to be called out. And I'm not saying we should keep silent about it, but I'm just saying that after Chappelle did that, he did a special that I thought was really bad, really boring, in which he kind of strutted around about how brave he had been about that. And there were other comedians as well who did the same thing. But it was an easy target. But still, it should have been a sign that maybe the people who were censoring us on other things were also censoring us on that, and they were the same group of people. So here's the thing, people kind of have been sort of hammering me a little bit, which is fine. You're allowed to hammer me. But they've been hammering me a little bit for being forgiving, for saying, I don't care what Mark Zuckerberg did. I don't want Mark Zuckerberg in jail. I want a Facebook that works for everybody. I really do. And I don't want to hate on Hollywood. I want Hollywood. If Hollywood can't change, which I don't believe it can, I believe this stuff is too entrenched, but at least let's build competitive networks. So far, the Christians have done pretty good. They've been done pretty well, building a competitive network, but conservatives, not so much. We haven't really learned how to tell stories, and we haven't learned to do things inexpensively so that we can tell a lot of stories. Because if you do 10 movies at $1 million, $2 million a piece, you can make mistakes. You can be bad. But if you make one big epic movie, first of all, it's not going to have any effect anyway. But second of all, you're probably going to not be as good. It takes a long time to build a good movie. It takes a lot of failures to build a good movie. Hollywood turns out so many movies that when a good one comes out, we forget the 50 bad ones that they make. And so that's the kind of thing we have to start building. But the reason I'm forgiving, is, first of all, I believe it's the right thing to be, because Jim Gaffigan has a career. He's got 5 children. His wife has had a brain tumor. You don't know what he's fighting he's fighting to survive just like everybody else. But I think it's right to be forgiving. But second of all, these are the people with the talent. Jim Gaffigan is a talented man. These are the guys with the talent. These are the guys with the talent to make us laugh. It doesn't help. I get these letters all the time. I'm a patriot and I've written a novel. I don't care. Are you a novelist and have written a novel who happens to be a patriot? That's a different thing. I'm still not going to read your book because I don't have time. But still, that's what I'm looking for. Gaffigan has the talent. If this has taught him to be a little bit more open-minded, if this has taught him that part of his audience who loves him have different opinions than he does, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I want Gaffigan out there. I want these people out there. The arts, I cannot tell you how important they are and how little you achieve by turning them into propaganda arms. But if we don't start to support these guys support artists who are Christians, who are Americans, who are patriots, who are people who understand the world at a deeper level than the left can possibly express it, who are Bob Dylan instead of Pete Seeger, then we're not going to have any arts on our side either. For more Klavan-y goodness, like and subscribe. And for even more, subscribe to The Andrew Klavan Show wherever you get your podcasts.